Good evening and welcome to Simsport Racing International GT3 Championship Season 4. We are back at the legendary and historic Silverstone circuit for the penultimate rounds. But tonight is the chance for our pro and semi-pro drivers to see what they can do around this epic circuit. If last week was anything to go by, we should be in for some interesting racing. Weather is definitely going to play a factor. But with the championship starting to get really, really tight, especially at the top end, and with this being the penultimate round, there is still everything to play for. So hope you enjoy the racing this evening, and joining me in the commentary box as always is the lovely Chris Hill, pulling double duty on both cameras and helping me out with commentary. Good evening, Chris.
Welcome. Good evening, Sam. That's better. They can probably hear me now.
Yes, yep. Helps to put your mic on. That definitely is, commentary 101.
When have you ever known me to do anything correctly?
I know. Makes it fun, though.
It does, absolutely. You looking forward to tonight?
I am looking forward to tonight, yeah. There are some really, really interesting battles going on up and down the grid for, the various championship places for each of our classes. And I said this last week, I can't remember a championship season where everything was still so close this far into the season. We've got one round left, and as far as I can tell from the rudimentary maths that I've done, and everybody knows I am rubbish with numbers, but it looks like none of the championship grid positions have been sealed up across any of our four classes. So that is really, really unusual, but really exciting for us. So why don't we start off by taking a look at those championship standings as they sit at the minute. So we're going to start over in our semi-pro class. And in this class, Justin De Jong currently sitting in that top one, that top spot, but Nick Vargas 1 point back. Both of these drivers have been in the server putting in some really, really quick times. Nick just putting in some blistering lap times during free practice. So this is going to be really, really interesting. They've both got 2 wins apiece, which is kind of accounts for the big jump in points back to P3, currently held by Jits Medina. But interestingly, Jits is not going to be here this evening. He had to sign out for real life commitments, when we all have them. So this gives a very interesting opportunity to Oliver Anderson, currently sitting only 4 points back from Medina. He was did really, really well out in Misano, managed a P3 there. So if he can get a decent haul of points this evening, he could potentially take that podium spot away from Medina going into the final round at Suzuka. So really, really interesting there. So let's take a look at our pro class. Pro class, this is where the excitement really, really sits at the minute. So we've had 5 separate winners over 5 different races. That in itself, almost unheard of. What adds to the drama, we are currently tied for first place between Dave Jr. and Clay Banny. To throw a spanner into the works, Clay Banny also had to sign out of the race this evening. He wasn't going to be able to get back in time. So Regan Mitchell and Sam Spenkeling, both very, very hot on the heels of our top 2 drivers. They are both in the server this evening, so we're definitely going to see another change in position in our pro class as well. So everything all to play for. Really, really interesting. I was having a quick look at the impact of that drop points, the drop round may have, and it's definitely going to be interesting. So please make sure you join us next week and the week after for our final round, because it really, really is going to go down to the wire across all of our classes. Exciting stuff, hey Chris?
Absolutely. Who come out on top tonight? No one knows. Um, just obviously you and I were talking off camera. The top 13, I think, were within a second of each other
During
in the free practice
yeah.
session. So let's hope that the weather doesn't play a big factor in qualifying.
No, it was clear during free practice. If the system works the way that we think it will, it should be clear for qualifying as well. Who knows what it's going to be during the race? So yeah, all going to be very, very interesting. Now I know that the drivers have just gone out on their first qualifying laps, so let's do a quick run through of the Silverstone circuit, and then we will join our drivers out on track. So we're going to start out coming down the Hamilton Straight into
Wrong circuit.
Wrong circuit again. God, I did this last week as well. Right, coming down into Copse. The map that I've got in front of me is a Formula 1 map. That's my excuse. Coming down into Copse, then you enter into the iconic Maggots and Beckett's sweeping series of left, right, left, right. When you get this section of track right, it feels absolutely amazing. Really, really quick, but coming out of Beckett's into Chapel, onto the Hangar Straight, very, very bumpy, really easy to get the car unsettled and go wide. Got to find your braking point for coming into Stowe. Carry as much speed as you possibly can through this corner. Into the slight corner that is Vale, but then coming up into the Cane, heading around into Club. This is where we're going to come onto the Hamilton Straight and coming up to the Formula 1 start-finish line. Then we come up into the braking zone for Abbey. Now this brings you into the brand new section of the track, opened in 2020. This comes into the infield part of the circuit, which is coming into the sharp left, right hand of Village, immediately followed by a ever-tightening corner for Luke, coming into what should be a relatively flat corner of Aintree, and then you come onto the Wellington Straight. This is where we saw quite a number of overtakes last week in our Tier 2 class. Those who were really, really brave on the brakes can get the overtake done coming down into Brooklands and around into Luffield. Did see quite a number of cars falling foul of track limits coming out of Luffield and into Woodcote. A lot of cars will cut the corner on that right hand side, but cut it too much and you will end up with a track warning. So really, really great circuit. Absolutely love coming to Silverstone. Very, very tricky track. Very, very technical. Lots of varying different skills that you need in order to be quick around here. All of that tempered with a whole lot of bravery, which we saw from quite a number of our drivers last week out. So let's jump into qualifying. The majority of our drivers have completed about 3 laps, and at the minute we've got Ben Mullard sitting in that top spot with a 157.0, followed very, very closely by Sam Spenkelink, only 3 100ths back, so that really, really tight in there. And Regan Mitchell currently sitting in P3. Over in our semi-pro class, Thomas Van Schaik, currently sitting in P1 with Nick Vargas very, very close on his heels. What's that? 6/100ths between those two, and then Justin De Jong currently sitting in P3 for that class. Okay, a couple of drivers not yet set lap times, so Narcox, Dave Jr. and Sander Vale not setting times yet. I'm actually very surprised to see Sander Vale in the server. He did actually message during the week to say that there was a good chance he wouldn't be able to make the race this evening. So great to see that he's been able to get in on the action and join us for the round this evening. So we are on board with Narcox at the moment. So even though he's showing us not having set any laps, he has actually done 4 laps already. So looks like he's struggling to keep the car within track limits. I believe it is still showing us him being... no, he has invalidated for this lap as well. So Narcox definitely struggling to put a lap together here. Just on board with Nikolai Schroeder, currently in P12 and showing us having improving on his time by 1/10. That should give him, that should put him up into P10 if he manages to hang on to that benefit. Just coming out of loop into Aintree now to head down the long Wellington Straight. I don't remember seeing the Sprite livery on this car last time out, or is my memory just blanking, Chris?
It was definitely on the car. It's whether Nikolai was at the last round. I cannot remember myself, or we didn't have a chance to focus on him. So we've definitely seen the Sprite livery before. He has jumped up into 11th.
Alright, so just my memory playing tricks on me. It happens when you get old.
No need to be personal now, is there?
You and me both. Right, jump up to John Baton, currently in P3 and showing as being 2/10 up. So that's, if you can hang on to that, that will be provisional pole if he can maintain that advantage. Ben Mullard looks like he's just gone off and has returned to the garage from Cops, so completing his lap and jumping back to the pits.
Traffic getting out of the way for John here as well, and he's come across quite a bit of it.
Yeah, unfortunately running into a bit of traffic here can be really detrimental on his lap, but thankfully it's not had any negative effect, and in fact he was just he was 3/10 up, but has lost a little bit coming out of the final corner.
But he does go pole.
But he does manage to hang on and bring it up to pole, but not by a lot. That gap, only 2/100ths back to Ben Mullard. So let's see what Sam Spenkelink can do to try and take pole back from, or take pole away from either John or Ben. Currently 1/10 up. He's just coming out of Vale into the club chicane.
They always seem much further in on the lap than they actually are.
Yeah. You kind of lose sight of just how long the Silverstone circuit is, and I think it is one of the longest on one of the longer races on the calendar. I think only Spa is longer, I believe.
I'm not sure about Paul Ricard. That's quite a long one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about Paul
I
Ricard.
think everybody tries to forget about Paul Ricard, in all fairness.
And it's all those painted lines hypnotizing people to forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do end up getting a headache whenever I drive Paul Ricard because of all the all the painted lines. Some doing really was doing really well. Unfortunately, had a disastrous section of Brooklands and Lovefield, and is now 1.3 down on his original time. So Sam stays where he is in Q3.
And Kieran in chat there. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody in the chat of YouTube. Kieran just correcting us there. What about Mount Panorama? That's a long one.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a long one. It feels a million times longer when you're bouncing off walls as well, which is always my experience of Bathurst.
I think it's
I
most
always
people's
feel
experience of it.
it is. It is. It's not racing, it's pinball.
Correct. And have you really pushed the limit if you don't hit the walls?
No. Nope, you haven't. I just noticed, and as soon as I notice, it then changes. Bas Van Mellis was 4/10 up on his time, but unfortunately, invalidated somewhere along the line.
Marcel Viz. Strange, it just shows us V on the broadcast. On the broadcast,
it does, yeah. Yeah. So Marcel currently sitting in P8, but 3/10 currently up on his time, and that should put him up into a lowly P5. So really good lap there from Marcel. That was a 157.4.
Sandervale 0.7 up on this lap. That was bizarre.
And didn't cross the line.
Oh.
Rather unusual. So Norcock still struggling to get a valid lap together. This is his 8th attempt. Where is he? He's just coming down then the Hamilton Straight, so still got a bit of time left in this lap. Is showing as being valid at the minute, so hopefully he can keep this all together. I think then the last difficult section to stay valid will be coming out of Luffield and into Woodcote. So as long as he can stay valid there, that should give him a decent qualifying time.
I think what we'll do is we'll stay on board with Nard. We'll try and send positive commentators.
Yes, no commentators curses today.
No, just positivity.
Yes.
Come on, Nard, you can do this.
Yeah, you're taking it really careful around Woodcote, but manages to get a valid lap in, obviously being very careful, and as a result, not a blistering lap time, but has done a 2-minute 0.7. He's still got 3.5 minutes left, so plenty of room to improve on that. Now that he's actually got a valid lap on the board, he can start to push a little bit.
So Ben Mullard here, currently 0.1 up. Which could, not saying will, but could get him back onto provisional pole.
I've just noticed the gap between the top three. All of it less than a tenth.
But
About how? Yeah.
are they happy?
5/100ths between the three of them. So that's very, very impressive. Really, really.
This is going to be close. And he does. He gets it.
Yep. By 6/100ths. And then, as we were saying at the top of the broadcast, what we saw in free practice, panning out here as well in qualifying, our top 12 all within a second of each other. Sorry, our top 11 all within a second of each other. So definitely shown for. Should bring us some interesting racing, and the other thing to bear in mind is that even just the slightest little gains can end up getting you in a good couple of positions when the field is this closely packed together.
I got really excited. I don't know why I just jumped on with Tim Kroll. I saw a green number and decided to jump on it. What I didn't realise is he was just crossing the line to start lap. There's so few people setting green sector at the moment. Dennis Workman here.
Dennis Workman, yeah, he's 5/10 up currently. Although down at this bottom end of the grid, where then the field is a little bit more spread out, that's not going to get him too many places. I might get him up to P18.
Still half a second up, and doesn't improves lap time. Sorry, but doesn't improve position.
Yeah,
still behind his teammate.
It's always very, very frustrating when that happens. Especially when you're in the car, you're not necessarily aware of the gaps around you. You can feel, really, really good. Yeah, I'm improving. I've done a, really great lap. Especially if it's a personal best lap, and it doesn't end up making any difference to the leaderboard or the starting positions. It's just so gutting. I found it really frustrating. I'm very interested to see Dave Jr. so far down in the order. Currently P9. This is our Pro Championship leader at the minute, or a joint leader. So yeah, Dave's going to have a lot of work cut out for him as qualifying now clicks over to being finished. And these are going to be the last times coming in. And Dave currently showing us 1/10 up, but that's not going to get him an awful lot. That should bring him up to P6. Somewhere around there?
7, I reckon.
P7, you were right. So,
can I have that in writing? Never been said.
This has been recorded, so you can always play it back to your heart's content.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, never thought of that. There's not much else going on.
So yeah, Dave Jr. Gonna have a lot of work for himself to do. Regan Mitchell, currently P4s. We just jumped on board with him showing on my screen as having an improvement. So yeah, comes across and maintains his P4. Some Spanklink up in the P3s, and John Baton in P2. So yeah, Dave Jr., considering all of his championship rivals are further ahead of him on the grid, he's definitely going to have some work cut out for him.
And there was no one else improving.
No, so
that was it. That was qualifying. Where did that time go?
That went by very, very quickly, and I have no doubt that all of our drivers are going to be very eagerly awaiting to see what the server restarts with. I'm actually just going to have a quick peek. See if I can... No, it's not clicked over yet. So yeah, everybody's going to be waiting to see what that weather does. We did see a little bit of rain in qualifying last week. There has been rain in the midweek practice servers, so it's not going to be a big surprise to drivers if it does show up. But it all depends on where it falls within the race if we are going to have any. So be interesting to see how our drivers react to that. How long do we have for that set? A few minutes yet. So, predictions. Everybody in YouTube land, good evening. Thank you for joining us. What are... Let's see what your rain predictions are. First half, second half, or none at all?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Luckily, no one will win a prize for that, though, will they?
No. But they will win bragging rights. And, you know, and as we all know, bragging rights, the most valuable gift you can possibly get.
I suppose. I would never. No, I've never had any.
Neither have I. Right. So, I've just seen that. Oh no, it hasn't clicked over yet. See, I'm getting just as impatient as our drivers are. I'm just an absolute mess when I'm waiting for a race to start and a server to get itself sorted out. But yeah, Chris, your prediction. What's the weather going to do?
I reckon the weather's going to be fine.
You think it's going to be fine?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in that there will be light rain in the latter half of the race, just to spice things up. Because I love that.
It's an interesting thought.
That'll make it fun, won't it?
Yeah.
Because drivers won't know about it until the race has already started. Ooh. So,
you're a bit of a sneaky madam, really, aren't you?
Yeah. It makes it spicy. So, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the drivers get a 30-minute forecast as to what the weather's going to do, but our race is an hour long. So, when the race actually starts, drivers don't know what the weather conditions are going to be for the end of the race.
Oliver jumping into chat.
It's
spoiling it. You're a spoil sport, Oliver. We're trying to build up tension here. Do you not get it? I could have told you it was dry. I'm already in there. Gosh. Sorry, Sam. I'm just having a rant.
That's all right. So it still means that you and I both have an equal chance of being right.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, the slightly sadistic side of me is actually hoping for a little bit of rain late in the race, because it's just going to spice things up and make things really, really nice and interesting. We do have a little bit of wind in the server, so it's currently showing as a what's that, northeasterly? Oh god, I'm so rubbish.
Yeah, you're right. Not if it's from the front.
Northeasterly for 1 kilometer.
From the front of the car.
Yes, there we go. But yeah, as Oliver's saying, no rain currently forecasted for the next 30 minutes of the race. Now, I think this is something that Kunos have addressed. There used to be this thing that these weather conditions changed literally while you were sat on the starting grid. I think they've kind of toned that down a little bit, and what's predicted is actually what is predicted. There used to be a case of that would change like second on a dime while you were sat on the grid, but I've not seen that happen in a while. So I think Kunos have taken that on board and kind of calmed things down a little bit. So let's take a quick grid walk. So on the front row, we've got Ben Mullard alongside John Baton. On row 2, we've got Sem Spenkelinks lining up alongside Regan Mitchell. Row 3, we've got Marcel Viss and Peter Vanier. Then in P7, we've got Dave Jr. lined up alongside Justin De Jong, who took the Pro-Am pole. And we've got Nick Vargas alongside Vincent Velsek. Row 6, we've got Thomas Van Schaik alongside Nikolai Schroeder. We've got Martin van der Kraan lining up alongside Bas van Millis. Row 8, we've got Tim Kroll and Oliver Anderson. Then in P17, we've got Patrick Tractor alongside Dennis Verhoeven. Then on row 10, we've got Sandervale lining up alongside Dennis Verkman. And on the back row, we have Tim Nybor lining up alongside Nard Hoff. So, I've had a couple of I'm going to apologize now. There's very little chance that I'm going to be able to pronounce your name correctly. Vio van Dosberg, predicting a good battle between Jean Baton and Peter Vanier, fighting for the win. Interesting prediction. So, currently our P6 driver ending up battling with P2 for the overall win. That'll be interesting. Just looking to see what sort of effect that would have on the championship standings. That would be a spicy race, actually. John Baton currently P5 in our Pro Championship, but Peter Vanier currently sitting in P10, but is on an improving streak. He'd had a really great race out at Watkins Glen. So yeah, that could be an interesting race, an interesting fight. So I look forward to that if that does manifest. So our drivers are out on their formation lap at the minute. Drink because I've got a feeling that once this race starts, I'm not going to get too much of a break to hydrate as we go. But
hashtag me too. I'm not sure if I use that hashtag in the right sense, but never mind.
Well, you know, hashtags not quite our thing, are they? We're a bit too old for that.
I still remember sending letters to people.
I know. No, miss a good letter. Oh, Frank Hop coming into the YouTube chats and first corner win. So sometimes that is actually the case here, but let's not hope for that. This race out. And Cops does make for an interesting first corner, actually. I think it would be amusing to see Formula One taking that approach to the circuit, but
just go back a few years. Just go back a few years. You'll remember. You'll see it then.
Yeah. In 2019, when we're older, that would have been a Cop's first corner. I think what's throwing me is the F1 incident a couple of years ago with Hamilton and Verstappen at Cops coming into Maggots. That always made me think that it was a lap one, turn one type of incident, which which is what always kind of confused me, that where the start line is for Formula One. But
Yeah, it's third of the way around the lap that now.
I know, yeah.
Doesn't help that they have all the painted grid on, no matter which one. So it certainly throws me every time the camera goes to the Formula One starting grid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I make this same mistake every single time I go to broadcast at Silverstone, because I make the mistake of, I pull my track maps down off of Wikipedia, and they always bias to Formula One. So, yeah.
I wonder why.
I wonder why as well. Right, cars are just coming up to Woodcote, getting themselves all lined up, ready to take the race start. So, an hour of racing at Silverstone for our penultimate round of GT3 Championship. Tier 1 is a go. And Ben Millard gets a great start. Jean Baton in the Ferrari caught a little bit napping, but thankfully hasn't lost too many positions. Everything behind looking relatively clear. We do have a car off. That is Tim Kroll for 2K Racing. Just collecting himself back off of the grass. Another car off just in the background between Maggots and Beckett. Everyone looking like they are cleanly away, coming into the first really heavy braking zone, coming into Stowe. Right, just waiting for the timing board to actually sort itself out. Always throws me a little bit, but we've got Ben Mullard managing to hang on to that P1 position. John Baton currently 4 tenths back, Sam Spankeling 4 tenths back from John. Just on board with Dave Jr. It's got nope, that is Dave Jr. coming up onto the back of Marcel Viss, I should say. Has a bit of a look up the inside, but I think then the gap is a bit too much to throw a dive this early on in the race. A little bit later, I think. Dave might have had a go at that one. So then, just on board with Nick Vargas, who has Vincent Velstec up ahead of him, 4 tenths between these two. Justin DeLong has gotten quite a good start and managed to get a driver in between him and Nick Vargas, giving Nick a bit of work to do to catch up to Justin. These two fighting very, very closely for that semi-pro win, semi-pro championship, I should say. Ben Mullard now putting in the fastest lap from lap 1. And we've got Oliver Anderson in the pit.
Yeah, I've just spotted that as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, when we do have a mandatory pit stop for the race, but that's our pit stop in our rules when it comes to a 60-minute race is mandatory tires, optional fuel. So this certainly wouldn't be a strategy call this early on, because why would you force yourself to run an entire race on a single set of tires when everybody else isn't? So I can only assume that is for damage. I didn't see anything particularly involving Oliver in that first lap.
I'll go and have a look in a second, see if I can find anything on the cameras. Just trying to decide which car to pick on. It's likely to make a move.
Yeah, we've got quite a number of battles going on in the race at the minute. Early on, you know, pack's still tightly packed in together. It's starting to spread out a little bit, but we've still got a bit of a fight for P3, and then we've got a three-way battle for P6 as well.
Yeah, look where now Cox is. Up to 12th from last.
Oh wow! So Narcox, who struggled to put in a valid lap through qualifying, has had a blistering first lap, and has gained himself what, 9 places on the start.
Like
so yeah, brilliant start from Nars.
Tell them to all settle down, Sam. I'm trying to get onto the replay cam.
I know. So whatever happened to Oliver Anderson, he is back out and on track. He has completed his mandatory pit stop, so he had to change tires in that stop, so he doesn't have to stop again. Now, if he does go then the full race distance, his tires are going to be absolutely shot compared to everybody else's. So it'd be interesting to keep an eye on how that pans out for him. Frank Hopp saying that it was a great start from Dennis Berkman as well. Dennis up into P16. So yeah, that's a good start for him as well. So just on board with Nick Vargas, continuing to harass Vincent Velsack for P9. And Nikolai Schroeder catching up to the back of this battle as well. So then Vincent Velsack kind of turning into a little bit of a cork in the bottle, and forcing this mid Nikolai taking a little bit of a look up the inside, coming off the Hamilton straight. Made a little bit of a mistake there, and it's just brought back a little bit. But we've got a battle behind these guys as well, with Nard Cox coming up onto the back of Nikolai Schroeder. So as we were saying, great job for Nard Cox to progress then this far up the field so quickly, and is now putting considerable amount of pressure on the back of Schroeder. I'm wondering if Oliver Anderson possibly has a technical issue of some kind, because he's back in the pits again.
Well, I've got a replay to show you. We're just waiting for a break. So now is a good time as any, eh?
Yep.
This is Oliver. You have to excuse that for some reason I haven't loaded the delivery on this PC. It's a bit of a nerf. That was a heavy impact.
That is a very heavy impact, so he did a really, really good job just to get that car back to the garage. That car would have been an absolute handful, but he obviously fixed all of that damage in pits. I'm wondering why he's back in the pits again. interesting one, that. But Narcox looking like he's getting the move made.
Oliver's in the chat saying he is done.
Okay. Right, so a frustration quit makes it sound like he potentially
Excuse me.
got hit a second time. Oliver, you just want to clarify for us if that was a second hit after your pit stop? So Vincent Velsack gotten all kinds of out of shape coming around Loop and Aintree, and has ended up dropping 2 positions, both Narcox and Nikolai Schroeder, down into P12.
Battle for first isn't over.
No, I've just noticed that is that's still a 3-way battle between Ben Mullard, John Baton, Sam Spenkeling, and Regan Mitchell wanting to get in on the action as well. So we've got what, 3, 6, about a second separating then these top 4. But the top 4 are just running away from the rest of the pack. The gap behind Regan Mitchell, nearly 4 seconds. Over 4 seconds, I should say, back to Peter Vernier, currently in P5.
Oof.
This is all looking very, very close, coming out of Abbey into Farm. This is coming into the new section of the track. Oh, Sam Spenkeling trying to go around the inside of John Baton.
He's being played the hurry up music by Regan behind though, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Oh, sorry, that's not John Baton. That is Ben Mullard. So Ben Mullard, at some point, lost the lead of the race to John Baton.
Sam, I'll whisper this to you so nobody else can hear.
Right.
We watched it live on stream.
Oh my god.
Shh! Don't tell anybody. I don't think they noticed either.
Dear, I do apologize, stream. I'm very tired today. I'm having a bit of a blonde day. Yeah, I really did just do that live, didn't I?
Don't worry about it.
I'm sure everybody will forgive me.
Nobody's noticed. We're fine. I think if we don't mention it again, we'll be fine.
Okay. Right. So, John Baton is starting to get a bit of a gap back to Ben Mullard, with Ben Mullard and Sam Spenkeling and now Regan Mitchell battling with each other. It is giving him a chance to get a little bit of breathing space. But Sam Spenkeling, as I was mentioning sort of before we came on air, Sam put in a lot of practice for this race. Put in the most number of laps in our midweek practice server of anyone across all 4 classes. He did 169 laps.
Wow.
Did get the top position in the practice server for the 2 weeks. So he's definitely got an eye on. One eye on the championship. He's probably seen that point spread is very, very close, so he just needs, one really, really good finish. He has won a round already. Took the win last round out at Watkins Glen. So definitely got a fire lit under him tonight. And yeah, and I think that this battle is certainly going to go to the pit stops. The strategy could start to play in a factor. From I was watching some, I believe AOR was at Silverstone a couple of nights ago, and the undercut looked to be quite powerful during that race. So could end up playing a factor here. I'm pretty sure some of those top guys are going to be starting to think about pit strategies. Try and get some places made in the pits. Well, this is a bit of a tight pack down at down at the bottom end of the field at the minute. So we've got a five-way battle. This is for P16 overall. We're currently on board with Thomas Van Schaik. Ahead of him is Sander Vale in the
Ferrari?
Yes, the God, what is wrong with me tonight? Jesus.
I think my unprofessionalism is rubbing off on you, Sam. Ooh!
Oh!
Yes, we did just watch that live on stream.
So that was Thomas Van Schaik getting it, going for a dive up the inside of loop, and unfortunately getting it a little bit wrong, and coming in contact with. That was Practic Tractor, I think, that he hit. And
yeah.
has ended up losing a few positions back down to P20. And has lost a considerable amount of time as well.
Interestingly enough, he mustn't have that much damage because he's carried on. That's the pits.
Bypass the pits, right, okay. And just on board with Sander Vale at the minute. And this is Dennis Workman up ahead of him in the yellow and green Mercedes.
I think these two are teammates as well.
Is Dennis Workman a Mode 11 driver as well?
Yes, he is, yes.
Ah.
Chris's random fact of the day.
Chris's random fact. Right, so while we're keeping an eye on this battle with... Sander Vale going for the... I don't know what Sander was thinking of doing there, but unfortunately, he's ended up almost costing himself to a position with Practic Tractor. I think he just, because he was following so close, just missed his braking point and just sailed off. That was coming up into Village. And in the bottom corner, we're on board with Nick Vargas, continuing his battle with Marcel Vis for P9. Nick Vargas wants to get a bit of a wriggle on if he's going to try and catch up with Justin DeLong to keep that championship battle in the semi-pro class going to the final round. Just before we came on air, I was working out what the impact of the drop rounds would be on these two drivers, and with the drop round taken into account, These two drivers are both tied on points, so very, very crucial battle here for the overall championship.
We've got a third battle underway as well, and it's hard to get there. Oh.
And too much to look at. Is that the battle between Ben Mullard, Sim Spenkelink, and Regan Mitchell?
No, Dave Jr.
No. Okay, so that means that there's 4 battles on track.
I think we've missed the move. Dave Jr.'s got past Pete Vanya. Let's go back to this one then.
John Baton has managed to maintain his bit of a gap for P1, but that gap not increasing. So despite the fact that then the 3 cars behind battling quite considerably, not managing. John's not managing to separate himself back from this fight behind.
Vargas in the pit.
Okay, so Nick Vargas are first to blink in terms of pit strategy. 39 minutes left in the race. My guess would be that he's going to look to get the overcut done. Keep an eye on where he comes out once all of the pit stops finish shaking out. In fact, I'm just going to highlight next name so I know to look at where he was. Been quite a clean race so far, and only a couple of incidents in the first lap. It's kind of settled down a bit now. Nick Vargas now out of the pit, so nice clean pit stop for Nick.
He won't be for a number of laps. We find out where exactly he fits back into the circuit. Let me rephrase that. He obviously fits back into the circuit on the pit exit.
Both of us are at it tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
God.
Must be rubbing off on each other.
It must be. I think when he was before he pitted, he was battling with Marcel Viss, if I'm
That's correct. Yeah.
correct. So might just need to keep an eye on when Marcel pits, and that'll be a good indication as to how effective the overcut was. But as I was saying, in the race that I was watching earlier in the week, it certainly was very, very effective. Granted, you know, that race was with esports level drivers.
Oh, you mean amateurs compared to our drivers?
Of course. This is far more entertaining, though. Interesting to keep an eye on who decides to blink next. I mean, the fact that we've got, you know, quite a number of battles going on track. There's quite a lot of green highlighted in my my timing screen. So we've got two battles on screen at the minute. This is down in the bottom right, Sander Vale.
Dennis Workman and Patrick Tractor.
Thank you. It's a bit too small for me to read, and then we're staying on with our P2, P3, P4 battle in the top right. No, top left. Oh, God. I do apologize, YouTube. I really do. You know I'm normally not this bad.
Could be worse, Sam.
But hey, at least it makes it interesting. It gives everyone watching something to laugh at, as well as watching some great racing as well. I'm actually kind of glad that Knife's not watching it. He's practicing for his own race for tomorrow, so... or else there's no way I would live this down.
Tractor going in the pits?
Yeah. Yep, Jin just spotted that, so he's then the next of our drivers to pit. And Thomas Van Schaik follows him in as well. Just coming up on to 35 minutes left in the race. Definitely expect to start seeing some more pit stops filtering in the next few minutes. I'm actually very surprised that neither of these top four, certainly the P2 to P4, I'm surprised nobody from that battle has opted to come into the pits yet. Try and get some clean air.
They'll all be leaving it to the last few laps to do it, knowing these lot. They don't want to come off the track.
Oh! Ooh. And Sander Vale just getting alongside Dennis Wormton, getting into contact coming out of the loop, and just gets himself spun round a little bit. So that's that battle decided for the minute.
I'm sure we can find another one to take its place.
Well, we still have then this battle up at then the top, although that starting to spread out a little bit. Sam Spankling still putting a considerable amount of pressure onto Ben Mullard. But as we've seen before, Ben Mullard seems to be able to handle pressure on track quite well. Although this top pack is now going to start coming into lap traffic. I did see a flash of a black car in front of John, so
that'll be Thomas Van Schaik. No, it won't be. Yes, it will be.
Yes, it is. So yeah, as more and more people start to pit, this lead pack is going to start getting into some traffic. Thomas Van Schaik doing a great job of getting out of the way of this entire pack down the Wellington Straight. Really great job there. It's always very difficult for back markers. I find to find a place to allow a large train of overtaking cars passed in a way that isn't going to and overly impact on your own race as well. Thomas Van Schaik before the pit stops was in his own battle, is conscious of trying to keep in his position, but doing a really good job of letting them all by on the straight. Sam Spankling takes a look up the inside, coming into Stowe, and manages to keep that. Manages to get the job done, but is going to be back on the outside coming into the club chicane. But Ben Mullard there getting forced wide and allowing Sam and Regan Mitchell to get through.
Nice overtaking.
Yep, very, very nicely done, nice and clean, forcing in the error. Okay, so I'm just noticing a few more drivers starting to dive into the pits. We're just coming up to the halfway point of the race. So, seeing as this is, and I just spotted Ben Muller's deciding to jump into the pits as well. So still keeping an eye on Marcel Viss, not pitted yet, currently in P9. I want to keep an eye on where he comes out in relation to Nick Vargas, who was our first driver to come into the pits. And I've just noticed poor Tim Kroll has been slapped with a stop-go 30. For my guess would be for excessive speeding in the pit lane. We didn't see this in the race last week with our tier 2 guys, but it is something that's very, very easily done here at Silverstone. Very awkward pit entry, coming in just as you come around Luffield, but what makes it awkward is the pit limit board is kind of hidden and tucked away behind a wall as you're coming around then the bend. Really do with then that board being on the other side of pit lane. So very, very easy to miss it, and Tim Kroll unfortunately falling foul of that and getting slapped with a stop-go 30, but he's done the right thing, has gone straight back into the pits. And it's serving that penalty straight away.
There's not really an excuse there, Sam. Don't give him excuses about the pit board. There's a big bloody white line that goes across the pit lane as well.
No, hey, it's something that I do quite easily. So you know.
Oh, Sam the first to blink here as well. All right, second if you count Ben.
And John Baton has gone in as well, so that promotes Regan Mitchell currently up to the lead of the race. All by his lonesome, with about a 20-second gap down to Dave Jr., who has stayed out on track.
So we've got Ben Mullard in the bottom right hand side and Sem in the top, so we'll see where Sem comes out and feeds back into the track.
So Ben Mullard just coming through Woodcote now.
Ooh, this is going to be close. No, it isn't. Absolutely not, is it?
No.
I'll shut up. You carry on doing the commentating, I'll carry on just sitting here and be quiet.
Dear, yeah, we're both not having a good night, are we?
Oh, no.
Right, so...
We are keeping them on the toes in YouTube, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I said earlier, it gives everybody something to laugh at. So, Regan Mitchell currently sitting in P1 of the race with 26 minutes to go. We're just on board with Marcel Viss, and that is Nikolai Schroeder up ahead. This is currently our quickest, our closest battle on track at the minute. Although we do have a battle brewing between Patrick Tractor and Dennis Verkman. as well.
I'll try and keep an eye out when Marcel comes into the pits.
Yeah, he's decided to stay out for another lap, but we've had Regan Mitchell, Dave Jr., Nard Cox, and Nikolai Schroeder all jump into the pits on this lap, as well as Bas van Millis. So Marcel and Vincent Velsek, the last to blink in terms of making their pit stops. Potentially trying for the undercut. I think I'm getting that right. It is an overcut if you pit early, undercut if you pit late, yeah?
No, it's the other way around. But I didn't want to
Other
correct
way
you.
around.
I didn't want to correct you.
Oh my god.
Just
I might get something right then this this stream. My god.
well, Tim Kroll looks like he's out because he's not served his stop go 13. He's still in the pits, so I suspect he's retired from the race.
Yeah. Frank Hop in YouTube is saying that Sam unfortunately had a bad pit stop. And wow, yeah. Currently in P6 at the minute, so he has potentially dropped behind Regan Mitchell and Ben Mullard. So yeah, Oliver confirming that Sam lost 4 seconds in the pits. So it'll be interesting to know what's happened if anyone can give us a heads up, whether he missed his marks and had to be pushed back, or just flowed in too early for the pit line, or what. But yeah, definitely cost him a couple of positions in that round of pit stops. Vincent Velsek into the pits now. So Marcel Viss definitely keeping everyone on their toes as to when he's going to pit. Nick Vargas currently in P10. And I've just noticed during that round of pit stops, Nick Vargas did manage to jump Justin De Jong, and is now first place in the semi-pro class. So pitting early looks like it's been quite a good decision for Nick. So that's going to put Nick in a fantastic position going into the final round in 2 weeks' time at Suzuka.
And look at the weather in 30 minutes' time, Sam. Absolutely no change whatsoever.
Nope, none at all. You were right, I was wrong.
Oh dear, we've got to have a laugh with each other.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just looking on the map as to where Marcel
Coming into Love Field now.
is just coming into left field. So I would say that he would pit this lap.
Yep, he's in now.
Yeah, there we go.
So we need to find Nick, don't we? So we're thinking he was battling.
Yep.
Oh, just as there's a battle coming onto the track, I decided to go to the wrong camera.
So Frank Hopp and Oliver Anderson both playing detective for us, confirming that Sam overshot his pit box and had to be pushed back before the mechanics could get to work on the car. So yeah, kind of costly mistake, but one that is so easy to make.
Unfortunately, I can't see where Marcel is. I suspect he's still in the pits.
Yep, he's not even. He's just completed in his pit stop now, just coming down off the jacks. So, yeah, pitting early has ended up being a really.
Oh no!
What I missed? What I missed?
He had a stop go 30,
No.
and he's left the server.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah, we're down to 19 now.
Well, that was all very sudden.
All very anticlimactic as well.
Yeah, and back to some Benkeling. The 4 seconds that he's dropped in during that round of pit stops. On as well, so the gap between our top 4 drivers much more spread out now than it was. So over a second between each of those, each of the top 4. But the battles that we've got on at the minute, up in the top left, we're on board with Practic Tractor, and I believe that is Dennis Workman ahead, and Sander Vale just catching the back of Practic Tractor's car, but doing the gentlemanly thing and waiting for Practic Tractor to get back going again, but unfortunately in the process allowing Thomas Van Shake to pass as well. Just on board with Nick Vargas, and I believe this is just
Justin De Jong, yeah. So that's the position. Justin taking the eighth spot away. Still there, Sam?
I am, yes.
You've gone quiet.
I was just making sure that so everything suddenly froze on my end.
Oh.
And I've just had a little bit of a panic to make sure that that everything is actually still alive. But yeah, so I missed half of that battle because everything just suddenly stopped.
Well, Justin De Jong got past me. That's about it.
Right. So unfortunately, I missed the overtake.
Well, you could say that. You could look at it from that point of view, or you could say that, yeah, you did miss it. Yeah. There's no other way.
No, there isn't. No. And obviously, then this battle between Nick Vargas and Justin De Jong that we're watching in a minute is also a championship battle as well. So these are championship leaders in the semi-pro class. So these two have got everything to fight for at the minute. So really, really great to see them battling it out on track as well as in the points.
And then I decided to change cameras, so yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And Narcogs, despite a abysmal qualifying, starting last, has managed to get himself up to P6. So it's a really, really fantastic result for Nars. And it just goes to show that qualifying isn't everything.
No, certainly liking his last to first challenges into the season.
Yeah, he said he's done a couple of them, hasn't he? But I don't remember who it was. Somebody in the chat very.
I think we might have lost Sam slightly there.
Wasn't his strong suit. And just as Ben was saying that, I've just noticed in the bottom corner, then this fight between Justin De Jong and Nick Vargas starting to get starting to get quite spicy. We've had a bit of door banging coming into uh, where that's just coming out of Vale and Club. It looks like Justin DeJong's managed to keep that position, but it did swip around a little bit for a moment. These two battles going on. I'm not sure where to look.
I know, it's a good job I haven't got a fourth screen, isn't it? These are the closest battles looking at it on the track. Having said that, Sandervale's less than half a second behind Patrick Tractor again.
Yeah, so then that's a battle that's been going on quite a bit. But then the incident a few moments ago between Patrick Tractor and Sandervale did allow Thomas Van Schaik to overtake both of them.
Yeah, I missed that.
So yeah, so I think then the contact between Patrick Tractor and Sandervale didn't look too serious, so it's unlikely that either of them are carrying a lot of damage. And I think it was more just misjudging a breaking point, and thankfully nobody came in contact with any walls. Would you believe we've only got 14 minutes left of this race?
No.
Bloody, where did that go?
Same place as the qualifying went.
I know. Everything's just going by so quick.
Martin van der Kraan here as well. With against Dennis Verhoeven. Another battle. We've seen Nard Cox and Dave Jr. in the top.
And I've just seen that Tim Kroll has joined us in the YouTube chat, and sounding like he's had quite a disastrous race. Got hit in P1, hit again a few laps later, ended up with no front ends, and the pit stop problem was missing his pit limiter. Also missed his pit box twice, and then the stop to 30 because the issue with getting the pit limiter turned on. So yeah, very unfortunate race for you there, Tim. Hopefully it'll go much better for you at Suzuka next round out.
Now Cox has just got past Dave Jr.
So then Dave Jr. Not a great showing for him. Currently in P6. This is going to have a considerable impact on the championship standings in the pro class coming into the final round, because all of his championship competitors are ahead of him on track, aside obviously from Clayton Danny, who is not able to join us this evening. So this could end up costing Dave Jr. a number of places in the championship standings when we head into Suzuka for the finale. So this is Martin just on board with Martin van der Kraan, and that's Dennis Verhoeven in the black Porsche up ahead.
I'm just keeping an eye on the Sandervale and Patrick Tractor battle in the background as well.
Yeah.
As soon as they get really close to each other, I'll switch over.
Yeah, I think my Martin van der Kraan is a little bit too far back in order to get a move made coming down the Wellington Straight. But is gaining a bit of time around Brooklands and Luffield. That Lamborghini seems to have a little bit more grip than the Porsche in the faster laps, faster corners. Sorry.
Two closest battles on the track at the moment.
Frank Hopp just giving us a heads up that Sem is definitely putting in some really good lap times. Not quite on the back of Ben Mullard yet, but has managed to make up three of the seconds that he lost in the pits. So the gap to Ben Mullard, potentially something that we want to keep an eye on. Sem's last lap was a tenth quicker than Ben's.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on the timings and jump to that as soon as it becomes close.
Well, they're going to have to get a wriggle on. We've got 9.5 minutes left in the race. Going to have to do better than the 1/10 difference in the last lap for that battle to be joined before the end of the race.
Seems to stabilise around every second at the moment.
And I've just seen the battle between Dustin DeLong and Nick Vargas has calmed down as well. I think at some point Nick has possibly made a mistake somewhere along the line, because that gap is now widened to about 3 seconds. So that will keep Justin DeLong in the P1 position for semi-pro. Now that gap between Martin van der Kraan and Dennis Verhoeven looked very close coming down the Hanger Straight.
Your eyes don't deceive you. According to the timing tower, it's put at 06. Soon going to change when we hit the next timing tower. Timing line.
Unfortunately, everything's done when we're looking at two screens like this. The times are so small, I can't actually see what anything says. So I'm very much looking forward to getting my bigger monitor this weekend. Considering I'm going blind as a bat as it is. There we go.
That better.
It is a bit better. I think I might be struggling a little bit for internet, because it's not overly crisp, but that's completely on my end, because I know YouTube looks lovely. Uh, 6.5 minutes left in this race. Martin Vanderkrant looking very, very quick through Maggots and Beckett. Could be another opportunity, but Dennis Verhoeven placing that Porsche perfectly. Keep Martin back. This is really, really good defensive driving from Dennis Verhoeven. Being very, very mindful as to where he's placing that Porsche to make it very, very difficult for Martin Vanderkrant to try and get a move made. But at the same time, Dennis isn't really compromising his laps too much either. So this is a very, very good demonstration of defensive driving from Dennis here.
It's great to watch, isn't it, Sam? We don't normally get people doing dive bombs or what we call public lobby challenges.
Yes. Yes, it's all very, very clean and gentlemanly like.
Yes. They get out of the car and they shake hands.
Yes, like good sportsmen. Just having a brief look ahead, Seb Spankel now within a second to Ben Mullard, and Regan Mitchell is also within a second to John Baton. So
why are they doing it to us? Why?
Well, I know they're going to make us decide as to what we're going to concentrate on. And I also think Thomas Van Schaik has come up onto the back of Dennis Verhoeven. Yes, he has. So, as always, our lovely Simsport Racing drivers, everything sort of quiets down for a bit towards the latter stages of the race, and then the last 5 minutes, all hell breaks loose, and we've got 5 battles that we now need to decide what we're going to watch in the final 3.5 minutes. They love making our job difficult, don't they?
They do. The battle up front looks like it's staying around about a second.
Yeah, and I think a mistake is going to have to be made for that to make it close. Having said that, Tim Spankeling took 0.3 out of Ben Muller that last lap. So if he keeps up the pace, he's got time to do it. But as we always say, catching is not overtaking.
You're quite right. To finish first, you must first be finished. Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Even if it's not,
No,
it's a new one.
To finish first, you must first finish. There you go, I think. But yeah, then this the bottom of the grid giving us plenty of battles to choose from. We've also got then the battle for Martin Vanderkrant on the back of Dennis Verhoeven, and Sander Vale catching back up to the back of Patrick Tractor again.
You've got both on screen.
And then this battle between Sander Vale and Patrick Tractor has been brewing on and off all race.
It certainly has. That was a quick response, that, wasn't it?
Yay! Yeah, so we're just coming up into the final minute. Yeah, I would obviously say that Sander doesn't want to make the same mistake that he made earlier on in the race, where he tagged Patrick Tractor coming into a braking zone. But Sandervale doing the honourable thing of waiting for Sanderton to get back facing the right direction, despite the fact that it cost him a position to Thomas Van Schaik. Last 30 minutes, and the leader is just coming down the Wellington Straight now.
I think this is going to be the checkered flag.
I think you're right. 6 seconds. Leader is just in left field at the minute. So, yeah, then this is the final lap. Side by side coming into the club chicane. But Martin van der Kraan still not managing to get that move made. From watching the previous laps, Martin goes for a beautiful move up in the inside of Village. Doesn't manage to keep it, but if he manages to keep get a good exit out of Aintree, he might be able to get him coming down the Wellington Straight. But unfortunately, it's just not quite close enough. Depending on the drive that gets out of Muffield, that is going to be it. So Dennis Van Hoven manages to hold on to that position, and battle between Patrick Tractor and Sander Vale also looks like it is going to stay as it is, with Patrick Tractor taking the 16 and Sander Vale taking the 17. And that is the race. Right, let me just quickly make a note of our winners. Chris, did you happen to see who came in P3 for semi-pro?
It was a driver.
That's helpful.
Schroeder? Well, it can't be Schroeder's a pro, innit? Might have been Bass.
It is. I do believe it is Bass, because Bass has jumped into the interview room.
Oh, tell him we don't want to speak to him.
Excellent. Oh, don't be mean. Don't be mean. Right.
Oh, he didn't hear me.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming, Frank. Yes, Bass came in P3. Perfect. Right. Should we talk to some drivers?
Oh, go on then.
All right. Let's do our semi-pros first, because we've got everybody there. So I'm going to bring them all in together. Then Nick and Bass. Excellent. Right. So let's start with you, Bass. Good evening. How was your race?
Hey, Jam. Well, for once in a while, I had a decent race.
You did, yes. P3 in semi-pro, so well done. Give us a quick rundown on the race from your perspective.
Well, I had zero preparation, so I guess I'm going to do that next time as well. I did my first laps yesterday, then today on the practice server I just focused on the race pace. Yeah, decent qualification. Was a bit off still. I think there were a few tenths left in there. But all in all, very happy with the result, and I just couldn't keep up with Nika and Justin, who were on fire as always. So well done to them, and congratulations on P2 and P1 in class. But yeah, happy how it went.
Excellent. And then, are you looking forward to our final round at Suzuka?
Definitely, yeah. Suzuka is one of my favorite circuits, and it's I believe the McLaren is quite decent there as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to that.
Excellent. And you were saying that you weren't able to get very much practice and setup in before then the race then this evening. You gonna have chance to get some practice in before Suzuka, or are you going to repeat this evening and hope that you end up with a similar good result?
Well, I have been practicing all season, and this is the first race I haven't been able to practice, also because of the 24 hours and still being a bit sore. So I might keep up this this strategy.
Test it, see if it works again.
Yeah, no, but I guess I'll do some laps, of course. And but yeah, Suzuka has a nice track for the McLaren, so we'll see what we can do there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Well done on your P3 position, and we look forward to seeing you for the final round in 2 weeks' time.
Likewise, Sam, and thank you very much for all the commentary stuff you've been doing this season.
Oh, not a problem. My pleasure. Right, Nick Vargas, coming to you next. Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good, Sam. Thank you.
And so how was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, it was an interesting race. The Mercedes is eating the tires on Silverstone, so and I was a little bit stuck in the first stint behind another McLaren, so I decided to do a little bit of an undercut, which actually worked because I ended up after the pit stop in front of Justin. But congrats to Justin because he definitely had the pace over me. We had a nice little battle still, but in the latter part of the race, he was just flying away from me, and I could not keep up with him. So again, congrats to him. And but yeah, I think the gap is still close for the last race. So who knows?
It is. Yep. Still all to play for. So, have you been keeping an eye on the championship standings, or have you just been taking it race by race?
No, I kept an eye on it, and I think we're still fairly close. But yeah,
you're
then again,
extremely close. There's only 1 point between you at the minute, so.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. But on the other hand, I think Suzuka is not the best for the Mercedes, but we'll see. Anything can happen in such a race, so
yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, then thank you very much for joining us and giving us some fantastic racing this evening. Strategy certainly gave us something to talk about mid-race. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you for the finale in Suzuka in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, and thanks as always for the great stream.
Thank you. And Justin, coming to you, how was the race from your cockpit?
At the start, it was very tricky on Maggots and Beckett's. I don't know if you saw it, but I had to brake a little bit there because the cars in front of me slowed down, and I almost lost it there. So that was a bit lucky that I survived that without any crash or something like that. For the rest, I think it was a good race. I had a good pace. It was a little bit more in it. I didn't have a really good pit stop. Took a little bit too much time, but after all, it was decent. Nice battles with Nick, and I enjoyed it.
When you saw, did you? I'm assuming you saw Nick pit really early in the race. Was it something that you kept an eye on that gap?
Not really. I had too much fuel on my first stint. I still had more than 10 liters when I pitted, so I pitted like 27 minutes. So yeah, I had a little bit too much. So yeah, it was just do the pit stop and let's see where we end up. And yeah, I was behind Nick, and first I had to take it a little bit easy on the tires to warm them up. But when I warmed them up, I was able to close the gap very quick, and yeah, that's it. So no stress when I was behind him.
Good. And then, are you looking forward to Suzuka? Is that a track that you enjoy?
Yeah, I enjoyed the track. I don't know how the Porsche is there, because I do not enjoy the Porsche anymore. But I kind of hate that car. So after this season, I will never touch it again.
Right. Okay.
But, let's see.
That does seem to be the response of a lot of Porsche drivers.
Yeah, yeah, it's difficult to drive, but that's not the biggest part. But it's overall just a little bit too slow everywhere, almost everywhere. Yeah, that's. But yeah, let's see what we can do on Suzuka. Maybe we can win there in the semi. We go for that. But yeah, let's see. Anything can happen there.
And it certainly can, but you're definitely going to be going into Suzuka in a strong position. You've got 3 wins throughout the how you get on at Suzuka, and thank you for joining us and giving us some great racing this evening.
Yeah, you also thank you very much for the commentating, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks.
You certainly will. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let's bring in our pro drivers, Ben and Regan. So, Ben Mullard, good evening. Let's start with you. So how was the race from your perspective this evening?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I completely outdid myself in qualifying, managed to put it on pole position somehow, which was a big surprise to me. And then at the start, when I was pleased that it was not raining, so that was good. I had a Ferrari starter next to me, so that was also good because I thought, I can maintain P1 into like turn 1. And Clayt wasn't racing, so part of me was kind of dreaming that I might do all right. But then that first stint, yeah, I had all right pace, but the 3 people behind me were probably a little bit quick, and you probably saw there was only a couple of seconds separating us, and I was creating a bit of a trolley train with the guys behind. And then I did start to lose positions from like a few small little errors, and they were just a bit quicker at different parts of the track. So they kind of capitalized on my errors. And then I pitted, came out in 3rd. I think Sem must have had a little bit of a problem because he lost a bit of time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the pace of the first 2 guys, so I just made sure I brought it home and didn't get any more track limits.
Yeah, and so coming into Suzuka for then the final round next race, and is that a round that you're looking forward to? Do you enjoy Suzuka?
No, I don't. That's basically the short answer. But you know,
I'm completely with you.
Yeah, I'm just not very good. I don't think I'll ever manage to do a perfect spoon corner. I don't, that horrible corner, the double left-hander. I just no.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
As well.
Yeah, but it might be fun because I'll probably be a bit slower, and hopefully there'll be like some more sort of battles for me, and I'll let the quick guys sort of battle it out up front then. So it might be a bit more fun for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the interview room, Ben, and giving us some great racing this evening. And we look forward to seeing you out in the next round and seeing how you manage Spoon and Suzuka.
Thank you, and thank you for the commentary. Have a nice evening.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.
And Regan, good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm feeling really good right now, to be honest.
Yeah. So how was the race from your vantage point?
It went a lot better than I was expecting it to go. In the run-up to the race in practice, I was really hating it. Even though it's my favourite track, I tried many different setups and I just could not find anything that suited me at all. I couldn't get through the chicane without nearly spinning no matter what I did. But so I tried my best in qualifying, and I did my best lap up to that point. So that was the best I could do. And in the race, luckily first stint, I don't think I had the pace of the three in front, but they were battling, so it let me hang on. And I was the last to stop, and I was able to find the pace in the final stint. Tried to battle for first, but John held on really well, didn't make basically any mistakes, so wasn't to be. But yeah, really happy.
Good. So, are you keeping an eye on the championship points at all?
A little bit, I am now.
I figured you would be. So yeah, it's going to be all to play for in Suzuka. So obviously, without giving any spoilers away, what's going to be your strategy going into that final race?
I don't know even how long the race is, so I can't tell you, to be honest. Win, I guess. That's a good strategy.
Of course. Yeah. That's always a perfect strategy. Is Suzuka a track that you enjoy driving? Let's start there.
It kind of depends. If the car likes 130R, then yes. If the car doesn't like 130R, then no, and I might be spinning a few times.
It does seem to be then that drivers, especially those that don't really like Suzuka, tend to have just one corner of that track that they don't like. So
Yeah.
130R is your particular nemesis then, it sounds like.
Yeah, it just, if the setup needs to be quite, like, really oversteery to be fast, then that poses a problem for 130R for my driving style, so just have to see.
Excellent. Well, you're definitely giving us plenty to get excited about. It's definitely going to be coming down to the wire for that final race. So thank you for giving us some great battling this evening and some great racing throughout the championships. So look forward to seeing you out in 2 weeks' time. And thank you for jumping into the interview room this evening.
Thank you. Thanks for the commentary.
Great, thanks, Regan. So, Chris.
Yes.
Well, that was interesting coming into the final few minutes, as always.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do that. Can they not
do
spread
it
out
every time?
I know, spread it out evenly throughout the race. Not the beginning at the end. Just spread it out nice and evenly. Then we can focus on all the battles. But yeah. Looking at Regan, the way he was catching Johnny, and just needed a couple more laps, and he'd have been on his tail. And then down at the other end of the grid, we've still had a battle to the last corner. So yeah, it just shows the class of racing that we do have here at SSRI.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that I've noticed with pretty much every single season that I've commentated, is that there are always really, really great battles up and down the field. It's not just, then the top few in the class or the split. There's always something to see going on throughout the grid. So yeah, and then this season, and above others, the fact that we're going into the final round with nothing decided and everything to play for, is going to make for a really, really spectacular finale coming into Suzuka in the next couple of weeks.
I hope all the top guys do turn up for the race.
I really hope so as well.
Real life issues that force them out, because it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame for them. Not just our
Yeah.
entertainment, but certainly a shame for them to lose a championship because something real has got in the way.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some, fantastic battling throughout the season, and in all four of our classes, when we've just had, a mixture of winners. I mean, both our silver class and our pro class, each have had different winners for every race. I think this is the first race where we've had no, they I'm just putting everything together at the minute, and our pro class is 6 for 6. I mean, when was the last time that you saw that in a championship?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, that's just phenomenal, and it, again, just goes to show, yeah, as you were saying, the caliber of racing that we have here. Yeah, I'm gobsmacked.
I hope it carries on to the next season as well.
I definitely agree. But speaking of next rounds, let's do a quick roundup of the streams that are going to be coming to our YouTube channel over the coming weeks. So, in 3 days' time, on Thursday?
Yep.
Thursday, we have our race room event coming from Valor Brannan. I believe that's how you pronounce that.
It sounds good to me.
So sounds right. Must be right.
Yeah.
So the finales from Suzuka. So Tier 2 is next Tuesday, the 28th, followed by Tier 1 the following Tuesday on December 5th. We then have our race room finale coming up on December 7th. That is coming from Mantorp. And then to round out the sim racing season for the winter, we have our Endurance Championship finale coming on December 9th, which will be the 6 hours of Watkins Glen. So still plenty of racing coming up in the rest of this season. But that is pretty much it for us for Silverstone. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Chris and I always enjoyed commentating on our GT3 races. Always something interesting to watch. So yeah, that's it for myself and Chris. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, give us a like, and make sure you've clicked that bell notification, that bell icon, so that you get all the notifications of all of our live streams and video uploads. And we will see you next week. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good night.